tool. Hello, in this video, kind of go over some of the things that we looked at in class. I'm going to talk about the mesh tool. I'm going to talk about the blend tool, gradient tool, and a little bit more about shapes and the shape builder tool. So if we make a rectangle and another one on top, so on and so forth, you can see that as you build one, you draw the other one and it comes out on top. If we look at our layers, there's only one layer here, but we can expand it down, and these are the different components to each layer, and you can see where they're selected over here. Now we can go to right click and say arrange. We can send that square backwards, so now it's behind this square. But if we move it over here, we'll see that it's behind that one but in front of this one. So to send that all the way to the back, we'd have to say arrange send to back. That's all the way to the back. Now if we select all of these, we can come in and go to the shape builder tool, and here we can add elements that we want included in our shape. So that would make it a compound shape. Turn them all into one. We could undo that and try that again, except this time we won't select them all. And so that wound up selecting these, and then this winds up being its own shape. And if we go to the direct select tool, you can click on that and then move that independent. Okay, so here I want to play with the blend tool a little bit here. So I'm going to hold down shift, make a cube, and I'm going to reset the fill and stroke. Let's go over here and grab on a guide, snap to that. Okay, so I'm going to change the fill color to, let's go like an orange, and let's give it a little higher stroke, and you can change that interactively with the middle mouse, with the mouse wheel rather. If you hold down shift, you can go in higher increments. This one here, let's change the fill to, so let's keep it how it is. So now we'll go to blend, so click on this one, click on that one, and we've made a blend. Now if I want to change the blend options, I can double click here, and I can click on preview and I can see my steps. So previously I made a blend with a lot of steps, so I'm going to hold down the shift and the wheel. And we can see that we're not only blending the fill, but we're also blending the stroke. And we can also blend the shape, which is pretty cool. So we're going from slightly rounded to completely rounded path or shape rather. We could also do even more crazy stuff. So we could also come in and mess around with the shapes, and we could not only blend the fill and the stroke, but also the shapes. Another thing we can do is select the path, and we could come in and add anchor points on the path. And then we could have these shapes blend along the path. Now this is going to want to create additional parts to the path, but if I go right on the path, then what it's going to do is just let me adjust just the path itself. If I hold down Alt, I can change it from a angled path to a curve point. And then I can mess around with all that. Come back in, double click on the steps, turn on the preview. So you can have all sorts of fun with blending. So the blending, it's going to allow you to do a lot of things. So for instance, come in here and grab this last one. Let's take the stroke. And let's just turn it off. And the stroke was only on this one. Oops, I need to select it. So let's take the stroke and then let's turn it off. But then I still have this one object that's part of the whole thing here. I could come and edit copy, and then edit paste in front. And then I could put a stroke on that one. And then this whole thing's just going to have a stroke just on the one and not on the rest of them. So here we're going to look at gradients. Oh, I have to click here into the gradient tool. Okay. That enables my gradient. So I can take the gradient, do all sorts of stuff with it. I can switch down here to sky. I can make my own. I can make custom gradients. And change the colors. So there, I just pulled that particular marker off. So that's how the gradients work. And so what I can do, hold down Alt, I can drag and make a copy. And let's make a blend with these two guys. Double click on the blend. So I'm going to hold down Alt and I'm going to duplicate this blend.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Because every time you
Nobody's gonna hurt you. Everything's gonna be alright.
do things with it,
Alright. You're going to get better. We're gonna have lots of happy times together. You'll see everything's gonna be fine.
I'm going to make a path like an S. Let's turn the fill off. And we're going to select that and blend. And go to Object, Path, or Shape rather, Blend. And replace the spine. So we can make like a tubular font there. So really cool stuff you can do with blends. I also spoke about the gradient mesh. So the default fill and stroke. Let's make a sphere. And I can come into the gradient tool, and that's going to allow me to create a grid on the sphere here. So now if I click the eyedropper tool, and then the Alt button over here and select like that dark orange. Oh, and just that one area was selected, so let's select them all. Let's do that again. I for the eyedropper, Alt. Now we can color the whole thing. And we can come back and then just select the parts that we want to shade. I, Alt, a little lighter color there. Select that anchor and the eyedropper tool. And I can just click on the sphere itself. I can add additional lines. And I could come in and select those. Those. For the eyedropper, Alt. Maybe make a little darker color there. And I can also get in and move just these around. So you can make pretty neat gradients. With the mesh tool, you can also come in and the Alt, you can delete edges. You get on the direct select and you can move edges around. Select them individually and then move them.